Welcome to Model Horse Tack School. My name is Carrie, and today I'm doing a viewer request. The request was for the blinkers because I did the racing saddle quite a few years ago. So there's a flat racing saddle, but I never finished the whole thing. Life got in the way, like it usually does. And so I'm going to kind of finish that up. I mean, the bridle is pretty simple for the racing saddle. It's just a D or snaffle with a lip strap, and that's just a strap, a leather strap that goes from one side of the bit to the other. May or may not have, a brow band or a nose band. It's a very simple bridle. You can tell here. This is kind of supposed to be kind of like Secretariat's. So in this case here, the brow band and nose band are underneath the blinkers. So, and it's a painting, but to get an idea, this is what we're gonna try and do. Is just the actual blinkers. So they come in different shapes, right? So this is what I'm going for, either this one or this one. Okay. These others are just odd. These are really the ones that we see. We see those probably the most. And then more pictures. They're usually quite decorative. They have, these are appliqued on. They're not, sometimes they're painted. And if I was going to do that, I would use a paint. Because the piece is so small, it's hard to applique anything that's small. I would even paint on these edges here. I wouldn't bother to try and use a binding of any kind. But that's what I would do. So this just gives you an idea of what it looks like. More ideas. Here's a better picture. I liked this one because it shows, they're hooked. There's hooks underneath. Now, I would just use Velcro. I have all this doll Velcro from when I was doing the Arabian horses. And so for me, using a piece, about that big makes more sense than using the hardware. But it's up to you, however you want to do it. Just keep in mind, it's two straps with hooks and then two straps with a D on the other side. Adjusting this is going to be really hard, so that's another reason why I would use Velcro. This is a different cup type. I'm not doing this cup type, just in case you're wondering. Here's another one. It shows a lot of the stitching detail. I don't know if you can see it. So I don't know if you want to fake that, but there's like 3 rows of stitching around the ears, 3 rows of stitching around the eye cups, and then there's probably 6 rows of stitching right there. And then of course you have the binding all the way around, right? So I'm not doing that, but that's what we would see in a real one, that in case you want to do it in leather or something, or if you wanted to sew in the details, that would be fine. That's what the pattern looks like. These are the eye cups. This is the actual mask. When it comes to fabric, I recommend something shiny. This is why I spent, oh man, I bought this in 2008. So anyways, this is a crepe back satin, and it's shiny on one side because it frays. I fray check, right? I've already tested it and it does change the color. So for that, that's why I would use, like I bought these. I'm not all that happy with them, but you're supposed to be able to, paint rocks with these. So I could do, this color and then, do a green and a copper. I wish I had brighter colors to kind of, mess around with it and give it more of that racing oomph. But anyways, that's what I would probably do. They bleed a little bit, so it's like a Sharpie. It's a good thing, but if it bleeds, it's not great. So regular acrylics would probably do too. So I've tried this, nothing see-through, and I wouldn't go anything much thicker than this. So let's see what we got. Sort of the thing. I did try to do these cups in plastic, and it turns out that is itself a skill that I don't think I can teach via video, which is why I decided against it, because it's going to take me a long time to master the art of melting over a form without getting the nasty, it just doesn't melt uniformly. And I tried different plastics, so it wasn't just one plastic. And some plastics, if they melt, they put off very dangerous chemicals as they burn and they melt, because they're going back into becoming petroleum. So that's also pretty dangerous if you get them too hot. So it's an idea, but it's, like I said, it's a skill that I can't really teach via video. So not gonna recommend doing that. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and cut out the pattern, and I will also do the fray check. And I'm not going to have you watch me do that, but I'll do that and be back. Okay, so this is still drying, but you can see how there's a slight discoloration. So it's not really going to matter on these. Those are your eye cups. Now you can make these out of a different fabric. You don't have to make it out of this. You can even try making it out of some type of stiffer, like leather or something. The fray check helps to stiffen it, so I like that. And so while I'm doing this, I'm going to go ahead and glue my Velcro on. There's a significant overlap here, so you could probably cut it down if you wanted to. Make sure that if you're going to use the Velcro, you get them on the correct sides. You know, one on this side and one underneath, you know, so they can, so I'll go ahead and do that. Even though this is still drying, I'll go ahead and do the next step. So I also got out my rainbow bag of Sharpies. So you can see how it behaves. If you're better at drawing it than I am, this will probably come out better. I'm just prototyping. It's not for an actual outfit, so a lot of times it's just, you know, what's it going to look like? Am I going to like it when it's done? As for the eye cups, so now that this is dry, we need to do something with these eye cups. Now, there's two lines in the pattern, and this other line is a guideline, and I don't know if I'll actually put the, you have to kind of snip in to help it move like it's got to move in order to form the eye cup. So we're just making these little, damn fruit fly. Just not very big. I guess it's about every 1/4 inch around. And fortunately, that's right where the fray check is. Okay. Now, there's a trick to this. Whatever your right side is, you could paint these if you wanted to. Gave these a more of a plastic look by painting them. I should have had a glossy acrylic paint, so I decided to paint those. So you could paint. What we're going to do is we're going to match starting down here, and so you have your where your cuts are, and those need to be outside. Okay, so we'll start And these are the half ones. You can cut them down if you want them smaller. They're going to be harder to put on, but you can cut them down. But I don't really want to remove any glue. So, and you do it on the outside edge, and then decide what you want to have be the front, and that would be the straight part. And go ahead and put that there. I would clip it, and you see it's right where the cut part is, and then push this in. So that the see, I pushed it in so that it's about the same distance all the way around. All right, so that's your third dimension we're doing right there. So a little bit, and if we start this in the right place, it should finish in the right place. And then I look in the front and I'll check it so it doesn't poke out very far. All right, so that's about right there. See, and that's a half. So if you wanted to, I'm going to actually do this on camera so you could take some off, and now it's going to be smaller than a half, but you're going to do pretty much the same thing. We're going to start by putting glue all the way around the outside edge. And start with the tail right where you want it, right? So it should be up, straight up and down. Sorry about that. And then we're going to push this in. So push it in. So there you go. That's a little bit smaller. That's a half. So like I said, you got a half, you can do a quarter just by taking a little bit off. Now the last thing is to fit it. And what I found is, I mean, you could try to do darts here, but it's a pain in the watusi. So what I did was cut like here, right in the middle of that flat spot, and then you can glue it any way you want to, and however tight you want to. If it's too tight, the eyeballs are going to have a problem. Remember that the bridle will also hold it down, but I'm just kind of see that flat area, that's what I would fold down, if that makes sense. And you can do it either direction. It's pretty versatile. So we'll we're going for a certain look. I would love to do authenticity, but in the case of this, it's so small, and looks horrible. That looks horrible. So the painting looks horrible. I'm sorry. It's like, all right. So I would hold that till it's closed. Meanwhile, I have this one. This acrylic paint is dry. So let's say I wanted to make this guy a steeplechaser, right? So anyways, let's say I wanted to do that. And I wasn't planning on it, but it's not really a bad idea. Although they use a different saddle than my racing saddle, because their jockeys are a little bit bigger. So that's pretty much what it looks like. The bridle will hold this down. It depends upon the fabric you use, paints and decoration and everything. But it'll work. You get a bridle on there and it'll work. This pattern is available to download on my website. There's a link in the description. There is a small download fee because, yeah, it costs money. I want to thank you for spending time with me. Like, subscribe, tell all your friends about this unique channel, and you have yourself a good evening.